ourselves in prayer. We thank you for everyone that has assembled here today. We ask that your Holy Spirit comes in and anoint us. Heavenly Father, we pray that this meeting will bring unity, hope, and vision. Heavenly Father, you have entrusted us as Commissioner of Meriwether County. We pray that you will lead and guide us to make wise decisions for the county. Then, Heavenly Father, we pray that you will bless each of our boards, administration, and all county employees. Father, may we always give them the glory, give them the blessing that they need, Lord. Lord, we thank you, and we realize and we confess that without you, we can do nothing. So therefore, we will give you all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor of whatever we accomplish here tonight. So Father, we just say thank you for these blessings and all blessings. In Jesus Christ's name say, amen.
Amen.
Please join us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We have our agenda here before us. Do I hear a motion we adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any comments? All in favor? So adopted. You have here the minutes for February the 14th in our regular meeting. You've had time to read. Is there anything here of concern? If not, I would like to hear a motion we accept the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? So carries. Let me see who I've got here for municipal comments. Mayor Valentine, I see you over there. Hancock Valley. Yeah, Mayor Valentine Hancock.
Either one, yeah.
All right.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, for those of you who came to our Arbor Day celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
It's very much a mental traveled heart. And so Lucasville is going into its 13th year as a true city. And there's a lot of people that went out of their way to come make it a big success. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Jack for putting us in the front page. Thank
Thank you. Miss Charlene, I know you're here. There you are.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our attorney deadline today is to take the bond request to be validated by our judge. So hopefully after this, we begin to move forward on our wastewater system. It's been a long, drawn-out process, but hopefully by April, we will be moving forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Robin, I believe you're representing Warm Springs tonight.
I do not have anything tonight.
Well, thank you. Are there any other municipalities that I have not seen? Okay. At this time, I'll be recognizing our constitutional officers, and Sheriff, I believe you're it. Nothing at all. Okay. Department heads, I'll start with you, Skip.
Nothing at this time.
Bryn? Yeah. Nothing at this time. Oh, okay. The bonds.
No reports.
Okay, Ron?
I'll have fun here.
Okay. Who else do you see back there? Miss Jane, any comments at this time? Miss Carolyn?
I have 4 quick things on Gail.
Well, come on up front if you like.
Come on, I'll get you in here. Can I say quick there? 1 sentence. One sentence.
Yes, okay. Thank you to Commissioner McCoy and to Ron Garrett today for coming to our educational program on the trend towards downsizing. It was very, very interesting, very informative, and I'm sure we'll be talking some more about that. I want to remind you of the business after hours this next Thursday at Legends 93 in Manchester. Again, I'm emphasizing let's support our small businesses and keep them in business. So I think
At the 8th? That's the 8th, yes ma'am. At 5:30.
So y'all, I think most everybody got a card. Also wanted to let you know that the Presidential Pathways region now, Holly Winter has departed her role as Presidential Pathways Tourism Product Manager. And we're now, they are not going to replace her immediately, so we are now part of the Atlanta Metro region. So they're splitting up Presidential Pathways, and the northern tier will go with Atlanta Metro, and the southern tier will go to somebody else. So that will be at least until the end of this fiscal year, and then they'll make a decision as to whether they're going to replace her or do some other kind of configuration. And then also, the last thing I wanted to remind y'all about the Community Leaders Meeting on March the 9th at 10 a.m., and that will be here in your headquarters. So I hope you all can attend, and we've gotten good response from the mayors that I've spoken with. We have several of them that are going to be present. One of them wanted to be, but isn't going to be out of town, Mr. Philip Dow, so I thought that was very encouraging from Roanoke. But anyway, we're planning for a good meeting, and I hope you will all be there. Thank you. That's it.
Sarah,
Yes, sir.
there's something I want to talk about. If you stay tonight, that's fine. I'll catch you, but if not, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, that'll be great. Thank you.
That's something we need to make sure that we announce. Fairly has to announce about a meeting that day. We're all going to be here. Sure. She did that one. Okay.
Looks like we're up to public hearing at this time. Do I hear a motion that we go into public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Mr. Ron Garrett, would you like to come up and
Two rezoning requests tonight.
The mic working? Is the mic working? I can't hear. We need to turn it up.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear, turn it up. Or speak it to.
Here.
We can hear it. Lean to the microphone.
Okay. Can you hear me?
No.
Got to lean forward.
Speak into the mic.
How about it now? All right. Okay, we have two rezoning cases tonight, and case number one comes from Mr. Willie Martin. Mr. Martin is requesting a rezoning approval of 5 acres from the A1 zoning district to the LDR zoning district for 5 acres. The property is located at 20040 Highway 85. It's just north of Gay, Georgia. Mr. Martin wants to deed 5 acres of his 15.16 acres to his daughter for building a single-family residence for her use. In our comprehensive plan, the intent of this character area is to provide for a land use classification for estate, residential, and single-family homesteads. One of the development strategies in our comprehensive plan for this land classification is to promote new development to be large lot or estate style having a minimum of 2 acres or greater. I've got maps here, but I believe Skip is prepared now to put this propped up on the map. He's got it on the screen now. This is the 15-acre tract that's in question, Mr. Martin owns, and he wants to deed his daughter 5 acres back here to put her house
On the very rear of the property.
on the rear of the property. And that is that request.
Ron, will we have an easement back to this?
They will.
And where will that easement be?
It will run along this north property line.
Okay.
There'll be an easement across Mr. Martin's property, back to his daughter's.
That'd be what, a minimum 30 foot?
30 feet wide, 30-foot wide easement.
How does that, I see he's got roughly 200 feet of road frontage. How does the easement impact the 30-foot wide easement? Will it impact that?
It doesn't.
But we're still required to have 200 feet of road frontage.
A road. Well, her property will be back 5 acres back there, which basically landlocks her 5 acres.
Okay.
And her access to it will be across an access easement. It'll be perpetual, and it goes with the property.
Do we have any questions? Ms. Shirley, I believe this falls into this.
Yes, it does.
Mr. Buster, I would ask if there's anyone who wants to speak against this, we'll get that record.
Is anybody signed up to speak on this? Ron?
I don't see any names down here for this particular hearing.
Does anybody have an interest in speaking on this?
I have not seen the applicant.
Where is the applicant? You're right.
Oh, here.
Oh, you're here. We can't see. Would you like to come forward and say a few things?
No, just hoping everybody approves it.
We thank you. Would you like to come forward?
Mr. Chairman, if you want to get...
Now, you're going to have to give your name and address.
Carter Hudson, Raleigh, Georgia.
Come on, right here.
Excuse me, sir.
It's just procedure, Carter.
No problem.
Okay.
But if I would want to give 5 acres and I don't have 200 feet of road frontage, I thought was required, you can get an easement. They can get an easement from me, and that counts as the same as that.
That is the interpretation I have heard.
Right, that's correct, that's correct.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do we need to go on public hearing?
We'll provide a public hearing.
Just go ahead and bring it up for a little. Do I hear a motion, we go out of public hearing? So moved. Is there a second? All in favor? We're out of public hearing. At this particular time, I guess we need.
We'll have to do a public hearing for our second case.
Okay, we can do that. Do I hear we go in public hearing for case number 2?
So moved.
There's a second. All in favor? Case number 2, we're ready for it.
Okay, case number 2 is very similar to case number 1. This request comes from Kerry and Liesl Owen. They're requesting a rezoning approval of 2 acres from the A1 zoning district to RD, which requires a minimum of 2 acres. This property is located at 11815 Highway 85 East. It's at the north city limits of Woodbury. Right there it is on the map, and I'll point out the location after I read my narrative here. And just like the first case, the intent of this character area in our comprehensive plan is to provide a transition from a rural area to a suburban area, which is often characterized by being located just outside a city's jurisdiction. And the subject property is located just outside the city limits of Woodbury, just north city limits, a little bit north of Flint River Academy. And they intend to cut out a 2 to 3 acre tract right about here with 200 feet of road frontage. And they're wanting this deeded out for their daughter and family to bring a manufactured home in for their use as a single family residence. And I'm recommending that both of these be approved as well as the planning commission.
Is there anybody that signed up to speak on this one? Is Mr. Owens here? Gary, oh, I'm sorry. Come forward, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Like to hear your comments. If there's anything you'd like to say to us.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is, my daughter and son-in-law, we have a grandkid now that's 16 months old. She's got some health issues. So we're thinking if we move them close, that'll be, give us the ability to help out. She just spent 2 weeks in Scottish Rite with the flu and aspiration problems and some seizure issues. Looking at her, you wouldn't know it, but she's got several doctor's appointments coming up, and we're just thinking if they're right there, if something happens, we're available to help, and you do what you got to do for your grandkid. So that's what we're trying to do is have them where we're available, because they live in Williamson now, so it's 30 minutes to get to them if something goes wrong. So that's our thought, and that's what we're looking at.
Thank you for that, Mr. Carey.
Yes, sir.
And there's nobody else signed up to speak. Mr. Hines.
Yeah, I do have a question. Ron, it does not indicate in any of this information The mobile home, the age of the mobile home.
It's
It'll be a new one.
It's a new one?
be a new one.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Looks like there's somebody else signed up. Do I hear a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Go out of public hearing. At this time, Mr. Daniel, I guess I'll just run my cases up.
Yes, we need to go ahead and just vote on the,
Case number one, the Willie Martin case. Commissioners?
I recommend that we accept the recommendation from Ron in the rezoning of the 5 acres. Sorry. Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. Case number two with Mr. Kerry Owen, that is in my district. I move that we accept the rezoning. Second. And there is a second. Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. Oh, wait, the whole list is here. You ready for this? Let's go into old business, Appointment of Airport Authority, District 5.
That's my district, and I would like to ask for that to be tabled once again, please.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? So passes. Under our new business, item number 1 is Summer Focus Program, and I believe that's going to be postponed tonight.
yes, sir, we need to postpone that. I think Carolyn, of course, is here, but I think Ms. Beverly Ball had some additional information she wanted to gather. So we'll put that back on the next agenda.
So we just table it?
We'll just take it.
Did I hear a motion to table?
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? The next item here is ordinance 2018-01, our firearm discharge ordinance. And we're approaching the second reading. At this time, Mr. Gates, I'd like for you.
Okay, I'll be glad to just explain and make a comment on this. Of course, on the agenda this evening is the second reading of a firearms discharge ordinance. This ordinance, of course, has generated a lot of interest, as we can see by the crowd at night. And there's been some misunderstanding. I've talked to quite a few people, and I think after explaining it, some of the concerns, were no longer there. And this ordinance, I want to state up front, was never intended to take away anyone's Second Amendment rights. In fact, I think we all very strongly support the Second Amendment. And consideration of this ordinance was always to ensure the safety of our citizens and establish some good neighbor policies. For as our county looks toward our future growth. And I think sometimes we could all just be good neighbors, there'd be a lot less need for ordinances and various other things. To be sure that we were not infringing on any Second Amendment rights, we actually discussed this proposed ordinance with the NRA representative, and they said they really didn't have any issues there as the ordinance currently reads. But over the last week, I know that the board and our staff and everyone has received a lot of calls and concerns from our citizens about this ordinance, and we're here to serve the citizens. We're here to represent them, and in doing so, while we all believe there will come a point in time that this or similar ordinance will be needed in Meriwether County, the belief is that right now is not the time for that. We're still a relatively rural county. And I do regret that there's been, some people have taken the opportunity to spread false information on this. Social media, I've voiced my concern with it in the past. It's one of those things where you can make statements and you don't have to really stand up for what you say, or you don't have to tell the truth. There's been accusations of people being corrupt and making claims of lawsuits against the county that do not exist. And that's unfortunate, because again, I think what we were looking at was something for the safety and citizens, and to create, a good neighborhood. But considering all the facts and the fact that we are still a somewhat rural county, would be my recommendation at this point that the board not move forward with this ordinance, that we just continue this hearing and not adopt any ordinance on this measure at this time. So that's staff recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. J, for that. Having heard that, commissioners, what's your favor?
Make a motion to accept his recommendation.
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? So passes and ordinance fails.
Okay. Thank you.
Please hold it down, folks. The next item is, Chief, if you will wait for public comment, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Anybody will wait for public comment, you can say what you feel. Okay. Number 3, contract addendum with Peak Pavement Marking. Mr. Gates.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, as you know, we had received $60,000 from GDOT this year for our LeMig safety line.
Wait a minute. People, please. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And as everyone knows, we've received $60,000 this year from
Yeah. Let's just hold for a short break until it quiets down. They can't do that.
Can't shut the doors. Cannot shut the doors.
It's an open meeting. It's an
Open meeting, so they can't be shut.
The den seems to have gone down, so let's go ahead and proceed. Mr. J.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again, and Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I did want to mention that this year is part of our Safety LeMig project, or last year going into July of this year. We had received word that GDOT would contribute $60,000 for road striping and safety projects in the county. And in doing so, we had, of course, a 30% match that we had to do this. Now, we went out and we bid roads based upon historic prices that we've got for striping. And the prices came back in very, very good. We had 3 bids and we had an excellent price. So we originally were planning on doing 49.5 miles. But with the good numbers that we have gone back to Peak Pavement Marking, who was the low bid, and they've agreed to add additional roads at that same price. So we're going to look to add 43.6 more miles of roads to our striping program this year. So that's going to put you at close to 90 miles of striping.
I got 93.1.
93.1. And you can see the other list of roads that I have here to be striped. We received a bond in from the company yesterday, and so we'll be giving them a notice to proceed very soon, and we'll be getting the striping on. We've got letters already drafted to GDOT for reimbursement on that. So what I would like to do is ask you guys to approve this amendment for the additional roads, and give me the authority to be able to sign this document and turn it back to Peak Pavement. And then that will actually allow us to be able to maximize the $60,000 from GDOT, because if we don't add these roads, we're not going to get the full benefit.
You need to accept the addendum and give you the right to sign.
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, or any discussion before I leave? Okay, all in favor? So passes.
Okay. Thank you. Again, that's 90 miles of striping.
93.1, sir.
Over 90 miles.
Okay, our report from our finance director.
We've got a couple of reports in front of you. The first one is the county bank balance. Pretty self-explanatory. We do have a large general fund balance, which is pretty standard for this time of the year. We collect about 85% of property taxes, so we have a healthy balance. We will use that up later on in the year. The other report is first quarter report on our budget expenditures and revenues. You want to take time to look at that and then get back to me later if you got any questions. The court numbers on the second page. As of January 31st, we spent 35% of our budget. We collected 61% of the revenue, which results in that guilty general fund balance. The last page, you see down at the bottom, the fire district tax. We collected 86% of the revenue. We only spent 2% so far. And that will change in the next 6 weeks when the fire trucks hopefully come in and we get started on the fire station. And that's all I have unless you got anything.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Dillon? Okay. Hearing none, thank you for presenting that. Mr. Gay.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Report from
Ken.
the county administrator.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Just very quickly, I want to let you guys know we have a contractor that's working in the county on some state routes, and he is milling some of the roads. We're going to accept those millings because they are actually very good material for our roads, and we're going to be storing those and utilizing them. I want to mention that. We had a little issue with a railroad that blocked a roadway into the Citizen. And the problem with it was they didn't really give us sufficient notice. I did talk to the CSX Public Affairs Director today. He's going to check back into that. He's going to give the Citizen a call. The Citizen was very, very nice about it. He just said I needed more notice. And of course, we didn't receive the notice either, which was my concern.
What was this?
This was on Herndon Road. And like I said, there's 6 property owners, but only one family lives back there. And he was fine. He was okay. He just wanted to make sure that everybody knew. And of course, our concern was the public safety response and everything should there have been an emergency. And so CSX has promised that they will look into this and that we'll work with them with a better procedure where we can be notified, where we know that it's happening too. I want to mention the Leadership Meriwether meeting is Friday morning. Our tire amnesty grant, I wanted to talk about this briefly. Of course, we're trying to pick up all the tires that unfortunately have been dumped in various locations in the county. And we have applied for and received a grant of $8,500 for the tire amnesty program. Ms. James worked very hard to set up a countywide cleanup day on April the 21st. And what we would like to recommend, and we'll move forward if the board doesn't have any opposition to this, is keeping this tire amnesty program open from April the 21st to May the 5th. That'll give the citizens 3 weekends to be able to bring the tires. Of course, we'll be available to accept those during the week as well. They can only be approved and accepted at Public Works, so we can keep account on those. But we believe that that will give everybody sufficient time, and we'll take these from residents of the county and citizens of the county, but they're not to be companies that remove tires. They cannot bring those and dispose of them. But if you have tires at your house, and probably all of us do, that'll be an opportunity to do that. And Ms. James' program will kick off that day on the 21st, but we think that expanding that for the next 2 weeks, which will give us 3 Saturdays, will be a good program, help us increase the number. And as I said before, I really want to spend all of that $8,500 on cleaning the tires up. So that
Do you need anything from us on that?
if y'all are okay with that, I'm just going to go ahead and plan it, and we'll get the advertisement out.
Sounds like we're okay.
Mr. Chair, I do want to make a comment. Thank you, Mr. Gay, for leading that effort. Once again, we do have a serious problem in the county with dumping and tires. It is a health issue as well as unattractive because it causes mosquitoes and everything of that nature. But once again, I don't know how we monitor the fact that those who are in business, that they bring so many tires since we're extending this. The previous time we realized that there were local people who work from home and work on cars and things of this nature were bringing a lot of tires. So I don't know how we can address that. It would be hard to address it, but I think there needs to be some clarity that if you're in business because you charge a fee to dispose tires anyway. Everybody's ever gotten their tires changed, there's an additional fee, you pay for that we should not take on that extra expense as well. You know, this is something that we're trying to help in the county because we have a serious dumping problem in this county.
Will this be an annual thing?
We're gonna make
We can apply for that.
We can apply for the grant.
several times.
Yeah.
They say
What I was
so.
saying is if it is going to be annual, is there a way to put limitations on the numbers that an individual can bring, and therefore it may be that it won't be
Yeah.
200 tires from somebody.
One particular person, because,
We can also record the name when they come in.
well, you still have to show your driver's license that you're a resident of Meriwether County, because in Lono, that was one of the biggest problems. We had 10 tires, and then 30 minutes later, we had 200 tires. So, you know, once again, we do want to offer this opportunity for the citizens, but then we don't want people to take advantage of this in a sense that disposing tires. And at the end of the day, we don't want them in our streams and we don't want them in our backyards, but we might need to want to see how we address that.
And I think we did it last time when we were just on a cleanup day,
Well,
didn't
we
we?
talked about limiting it, and then we said no, because if we limit it, they're still gonna be laying out there on the side of the road. So, you know, with him doing this, the cleanup's just that one day, April 21st, but you got
Extended.
3 weeks to bring them. I don't see how you can limit it.
What time's it start?
8 o'clock, 8 to 4 on the 21st. And I do have registration forms out on the calendar.
Starts March 1st.
And Ms. Jane's gonna help us get the word out on this too, so.
Pardon me, are you all gonna accept truck tires, I was saying, or just automobile?
I think we said any tires, they don't need to be on the rim,
Yeah,
but
right.
any tires. And another thing that that I've talked to some of the city officials about is collecting tires through the year. So we have our cleanup, you know, once or so a year, twice a year, but they may have tires that they collect on a regular basis. And so what I want to do is to get with them and come up with a way. Of course, they would have to pay for the disposal costs because we would have to, but to give them an option to be able to bring those tires over to our Public Works Department where we have that trailer and be able to go ahead and put those in there. That way they don't have to store them up for 6 months waiting for us to have our next cleanup day. And then we could come up with a average cost of what a tire, a car tire, a truck tire, a tractor tire costs. And then, of course, we could bill the city back.
But cities can apply for this same grant as well, can't they?
They can. And under the use of this grant, we are accepting those from the cities as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So we will have the cities, you know, in their cleanup, because they're going to be part of the program as well, and we'll accept all of those tires, anywhere from within the boundaries of Meriwether.
I think if we're going to be accepting tires like that throughout the entire year, we need to make sure we have protection in place for tarps or something to cover that so that it doesn't collect rain and hold that because of the mosquitoes and Zika and things like that that can come from it. So if we have it in an isolated area, we have to make sure that it doesn't fill with water, and if it does, we have to provide the insecticide to spray and make sure, because we certainly don't want to cause harm to people in
The
the
state
area.
requires that if you collect tires all year long, they have to be in a covered area.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Mayor, gentleman, question.
What were those dates again for tire amnesty?
The dates are April the 21st through May the 5th, and we'll only accept tires over at the Public Works Department. Yes, sir, you're right. I'm hoping what we'll have is be able to, we have to hire the hauler, but the hauler will bring a trailer, and we'll just put it in that trailer, and then it'll be out of the rain, and you're exactly right.
The hauler also scrap tire, hauler license.
He does, and then he has to be licensed by the state.
And they also have to recycle. In order for us to take advantage of this grant, these tires have to be recycled.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's, that's that issue. Yes, sir. I just want to mention, I also had a meeting with the Mental Health Drug Court. We're waiting for some more information to come back on that. We have a steering committee meeting tomorrow at 3. We've had our service delivery strategy meeting with all the cities, and it was a very good meeting. The only items we still need to discuss in more detail, and this is not because we had differences of opinion, just that we needed to discuss that, is going to be water and sewer and service from the cities to the counties. So we're going to, reconvene that. I'm going to write up all the things that we pretty much agreed to at this point. We'll have to have those signed off on. Met yesterday with our department heads about our short-term work program, and they're going to have all of their short-term work plans in by Friday, so we'll be able to start to put that matter together. We checked back on our GIS, so we've been pushing to try to get that geographic information system up and running. We made some visits, we talked with the people at the University of Georgia, and we found out that in reality we were in better condition than I thought we were. We've had everything digitized up till 3 years ago. So we are now, we'll only have to have the university digitize the last 3 years of property splits down at the assessor's office. And David and his staff are working on that and should be able to get that to the university probably by next week. And then Skip and Brent have been working with us on this as well. And we're starting to try to move this forward. Ron's been involved with it. We've got our new aerial photography, and we're going to start implementing that. We're going to have our property tax maps are all going to be on there, all the property splits, ownership. Ron's going to get zoning and everything else on there, so we'll have that where it'll be a tremendous tool. And then the sky's the limit of what you can do with GIS. So it's a good program, and we're trying to move forward with that. We mentioned tonight about striping and roads. I have been told by GDOT that they're not going to have that safety limit this upcoming year. But we have received notice of our 2018 MIG, and I think, Bill, we're going to receive a little over $800,000 on that program. And what we'd like to do is go ahead and get those bids out a little bit earlier this year. And so I'm going to ask Tyrell in Public Works to start working on the road list. And if you guys have any roads that you want to be sure we get on that program, let me know, because I'd like to be able to put that together and have those bids come out around June this year.
And I know Ms. Ferry and I both already had a road, I guess it's on there that we got left off the last one.
It's on the top of the list. We're going to make sure that road's up there. That's right. That was her commitment. I had promised her. We don't give her one road to get after. But we should be able to do.
I have one right behind it.
You do. And we should have probably, I would say, close to 12 miles of roads we'll be able to do. So that'll work out.
And our match is still the 30%.
30%. But it has actually gone up, their commitment's gone up, so our match will go up. Of course, we use that match, we pay for that out of the sales tax, SLOSS tax that's here as well. Other things I've done, attended the Joint Development Authority meeting. I met with Mando, Ms. Jane, myself, and the Chief and Bill. And we attended an insurance pre-renewal meeting. I attended Commissioner Hines' town hall meeting, which was well attended. I met on a lease for the airport hangar. We've got that lease drafted, and we want to, they'll be coming up, so we're going to be looking at that. I've talked to several citizens on various topics. Volunteered this past Saturday to work on the Lake Meriwether Trail along with Bill and Mr. Buster and several others. And I tell you what, time you walk that in and walk that out, that's quite a trail. And our fire station bids will be opening next week. So
Do you know what day?
Next Friday.
Friday? What time?
no,
They're opening.
it's a Thursday. We're open. Let's see the picture. Let me see what we got here. The dates. It's Thursday. It will be the 8th.
What time? We have a time? 2 o'clock.
This will be the first.
Are the bids already coming in? Have we received any yet?
They'll come in right at the last bit. Yeah, but that's going to be 2 o'clock. Yeah, we have.
But a lot of packages went out too.
We had 19 people that came to the pre-bid. I think we had one company, and they were very, very big companies, so it didn't surprise me, said they were not going to be able to bid, but the others are very interested. And we've had a lot of requests from subs and everything. So, again, looking forward to opening those bids, and our plan is to have those back at y'all's next meeting on March, I think it's the 14th, for recommendation from the board. So we're ready to roll forward on that. And, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have at this time.
Don't need the oxygen, do you?
I can just keep on going.
At this time, is a report from my county commissioners. Commissioner Griffin.
Only thing I had, and it wasn't in reference to the fire station, I had a couple of people ask, when those bids come in, what's the projected date that it may start, and when will the first one be completed, do you think?
We're going to really have it where they're all four going to start coming out of the ground really at the same time. And I would imagine when the steel erector comes in, it's going to go from side to side to side. So my hope would be that we get this thing started in April. And I would hope that 4 or 5 months in, maybe no more than 6 months in, we'll have those open. And then, of course, shortly thereafter, because we've already got the building plans and designs and all done, so all we really have is site plans. And hoping we'll go ahead and get the bids out in pretty short order on the remaining 4, and then we got some remodeling. So we'll be working. So it's going to be a busy spring through the fall.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Bray.
I don't have anything at this time.
About the only thing that I've got to comment on, it was quite hot down at the lake, and the snakes are out now, and as well as the ticks. Be careful, they're out there. That's about all I had. Commissioner Needham.
Just one thing, in reference to Mr. Gay's comments about this ordinance and the calls and concerns, just over the last week, had the opportunity to speak to a lot of people from my district, which I do on a regular basis anyway. And I just want to thank the ones who took the time to call, to give concerns, give suggestions. There were a lot of good conversations, and they were definitely in the majority. You always have those couple that don't go so well. But I do appreciate the people taking the time to make comments. And I just want to invite you to come to our meetings when nothing's going on. We meet the first Wednesday in every month at 9, and then on the 4th Tuesday at 6. So if you work at night, you can come during the day, and vice versa. We have so much to go over at every meeting we have, and we just want to encourage you to come and be a part of it and know what's going on, because some misinformation that was out there would have never been out there had more people know really what was going on and what was being talked about. But I do appreciate the ones who took the time to either stop by and call and give your concerns. I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like I'm speaking for everybody else. You listen to what people say. That's the only way we can make decisions. People make you think about things perhaps that you didn't think about, and I don't have any problem saying, hey, I didn't think about that, maybe we need to go another direction, or whatever it is we need to do. But like I said, we're here to serve the people, all the people, and we all have different concerns. We all have our own little niche that we're a little more concerned about maybe than what somebody else is or whatever, but it's all equally important. So I do thank you for coming tonight. I do hope you'll put it on your calendar. We do have a few that come every meeting, and we're thankful that they are here. There's some ladies back there, I don't know, they don't miss a meeting. But we'd love for you to come to any of the others and just be a part of what's going on in your county and know what's coming up or what we need to work on or what we need help with. But again, thank you for coming tonight. That's it.
Commissioner Hines.
Once again, what Commissioner Hadley said, you're always welcome to the meetings here at the commission. In any meeting in the county, all meetings are open to the public. And, her sentiments are true, I think, for this entire board. Sometimes people elect individuals to represent them, and then after that, they don't stay involved. In order for your county to grow or whatever changes, it's the input from the citizens that makes the big difference. And we are here to always have an open policy, but, we want to hear the good, bad, and ugly. Because there is no always right or wrong. It's just a combination of people coming together discussing things. So once again, for those who have come out tonight, we appreciate it. The other thing is, I am the legislative representative for Meriwether County, which basically means I get a lot of emails from the state regarding things that are going on the state level. Right now, our state representatives are in session. I don't think they've gotten to their crossover days yet, but there are certain House bills and Senate bills that will have a direct impact on rural counties. I don't know how many people know this, but Georgia has 159 counties, and 124 of those are rural, which means they have a population less than 30,000 people. And even though we have representation from all over the state at the Capitol right now, there's a big emphasis on rural Georgia right now. Rural Georgia is experiencing a lot of challenges, and one of it is population. A lot of people are moving out of the rural counties. A lot of opportunities are not there, so the state is really looking at how to assist rural Georgia. So there are some House bills and Senate bills that some have passed. I've sent the emails out already, so I asked the board to please take the time to look over that. But once again, some of these bills will have a direct impact on us. One that I want to just bring up so the citizens will be aware of, several years ago, the state got rid of the ad valorem tax. Well, they didn't get rid of it, they kind of changed the structure. Yeah, and then so a lot of the counties lost a lot of money. So they're now looking at that again. Because, and the way that it's structured right now, it has hurt the rural counties tremendously. So hopefully that bill, we'll know the results of that, and I'll bring that to your attention.
What's the number on that one?
I don't have it in front of me. I've sent everybody that.
It was in my email.
The other one is the tipping fees on landfills. Since 1996, the tipping fee has been $1, and so there's a proposal to make it $3. That would be a big effect on our county. And so once again, I do believe most people are in favor of that, since it's not had any changes. So as soon as we get more information on that, I'll bring it to your attention. And the last thing I want to make sure that we're aware of, there are certain things that county have no control over. There are certain things that are mandated to us from the state, and we just have to be in compliance. One of the things, and Ryan, if I've not sent this to you, I'll make sure you get a copy of it, is changing some of the ordinance and some of the fees for doing business in your county. So the state is now putting certain stipulations on what you can charge and what percentage and things of this nature. I would hope that the state would let the county do that themselves, but unfortunately, if this bill get passed, then we will not have a say-so to some degree on what those fees would be like. And that's fees from getting a permit to build your house or any kind of permitting fees, and that's going to change. And the last thing is there is a bill that would give, I think it's not all elected officials, it definitely doesn't include us. I think it's the probate judge, magistrate judge, the tax commissioner, things that Constitution officer, across the board 5% increase. So these are things, and I want the citizens to know that we have no control over, but we have to be in compliance of that, which means it will change our budget a little bit. But I mean, the cost of living and everything, you know, at some point in time, you do have to give those increases, but I do want this board to be aware of some of these things that's going on. So once again, I will always send these emails out to you all, and I would recommend that you send them to your department heads, as well as the Constitution officer, so they'll be aware of some of these changes and the impact that will have on the county directly. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hines. At this time, our county attorney, Ms. Susan, don't tell us you need a raise.
Well, I was just trying to see if I can become a constitutional officer. I don't have anything at this time, and we do not have need for an executive session. Thought I'd make you happy. And thank you all for coming out for my birthday. I was gonna leave and come back in so y'all get to say surprise.
Who's running for state senator? Judge.
Randy Roberts.
No, the gentleman standing.
Sir, would you come forward? I was going to have public comment, but we'll be glad to let you come and speak to us even before we start here.
Yeah, if I can take a couple minutes, very quick. First of all, thank you. I'm a retired full colonel, Special Forces. I've traveled all over the world. And when I retired, I went to work for the Columbus, Georgia Chamber of Commerce. I am a professionally certified economic developer. I've learned that working behind the scenes to help commissions development authorities, and Jane and I go way back. Working with the state, I've heard you tonight, and I think it's unfortunate that some of our state representatives and senators don't listen carefully enough to what you're looking at as issues and translate those into legislation at the state. I did BRAC, base realignment and closure. It brought an armor school down here instead of a smaller unit we were prepared for. Jane was part of our orchestration behind the scenes of five Georgia counties and 3 Alabama counties. So I know how to work with the federal legislators and the local level. I'm Biff Haddon. My wife Trish is in the back. I've got business cards for anybody who would like one. But thank you, and just know that I'm running for Josh McCoon's seat to bridge economic development between the state and the local level.
And what was his position?
Huh?
What was his position? You said you're running his position, so what is that?
It's state senator.
Thank you. I know it. I just want to make sure everybody else knows.
You know, I have never been in politics before. I've worked with a lot of politicians behind the scenes. This is my first attempt ever, and it's a real learning experience.
Yeah.
I tend to think people know who I am and what I'm doing, and you're exactly right. But I'm excited about the chance to be considered to represent y'all. I live in the district, I travel through the district, and I've been involved in the district. I am right now involved in what's going to happen with Fort Benning in the future. Somebody asked me the other day, what do I do? I'm actually a contractor working directly for the Secretary of Defense. And I actually take care of wounded and injured service members. And one of the reasons I came up to meet with Jane is I find them employment interviews. And I cover Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia. I look at announcements all the time because that's where I'm directing these service members. And I'm wondering, why not here? So I'm asking for a chance to be that point of contact to fix why not here and bring it here. Also to listen to concerns like what happens at the state with fees. That should be a local decision. The state should, our whole premise of government is to let things happen at the local level as much as possible and only get involved if the local level has problems. So, I know you're doing fire stations. I have worked grants with Homeland Security, with state agencies and others. It's a matter of getting to the right group with the right message, and I'm real simple. I don't take no for an answer. We just have to work out what's best. But thank you very much. I'm available for any questions afterwards.
Thank you, Colonel. At this time is the period for public comment, which we just started. And Gene, I think you may have to speak first. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, I signed up last. I didn't have to speak first. I didn't know if we were going to be talking about the...
Wait a minute, I'm going to have to make you last. I didn't know this. My apologies, sir. Scott Vandenberg.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here to, I was going to talk about the shooting ordinance, but you brought up the comments on economic development. The shooting range in Woodbury brings in people from all over the southeast. They spend money in Meriwether County. They go to lunch, they buy gas, and they spend nights in hotels. Okay, this ordinance that you're trying to pass is a direct assault on that range. Okay, it's also a violation of Georgia Range Protection Act. That's 41-1-9. It says if it's been in operation for over a year, you can't pass a new ordinance to shut it down. And that's exactly what they're doing, or you're trying to do. The shooting at night. We train people in proper use of firearms at night. Okay, there's a U.S. Supreme Court decision. They found a city in Ohio guilty of negligence because they failed to train their police officers in shooting at night. Okay, I'm certified by the NRA to train police officers in disciplines that include night fire with rifle, pistol and shotgun. They also own property at 1680 Upper Cove Road, which is right next door to the range. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on here, I have Linda Johnston. Is that what I'm reading here? I guess she's gone, okay. Jesse Corbin, are you here? Okay. Wayne Cato. William Kennedy.
You know what they were here for, though, don't you?
Carter Hudson, you're back up.
Carter Hudson, Raleigh voting district. Do I have to speak on just what we're discussing? Okay, I got a list.
3 minutes,
Something real quick. It was gonna be interesting to watch Ron get out in a duck pond and measure off 150 feet from the line, so, you know, you think about all these regulations, and that would have been one of them. And how many people would it take to enforce that in a county as big as we are, and as rural as we are? These are just thoughts. And about the fire stations coming up, I've mentioned this in private with different people, but I think there need to be public restrooms, because if they're gonna be manned 24 hours a day, and how many places is there in Meriwether County you stop to go to the bathroom? Not counting Ingalls. And I've seen tour buses pull over at Ingalls so people can get out, and all they do is go back there to the restroom, and then they come back out. They may buy something at the deli, but besides the courthouse, and when it's closed, it's closed. And I think being that they're gonna be manned, while they're manned, there will be a signed public restroom. Just my thought. And on the timber permits, are we putting up signs now when somebody has a permit? What do they look like?
They're yellow.
Yellow. So if it's not a sign there, it's probably
Need to
not.
call it in.
Oh,
Ron, you just got in some more signs.
Yeah, we got in some more signs now, so the one or two out there didn't have signs, they have signs now.
Okay, how big are they? Big enough to notice.
Yeah, you can see it well going down the road.
You can see it. It looks like a posted sign, one of the old posted signs, it's a little bit bigger.
If you don't see one, or you think there may be something, call it in, let us make sure we got it.
I was talking to Chairman McCoy, and he said he was out at the Lake Meriwether last Saturday, blazing some trails. He said, you know, this is why I started off 16 years ago.
No, 60 years ago. Almost.
66, when you were 16, or something like 60 years ago.
I'm about that young, you're right.
He was out there helping survey and cut cords and whatever for the Corps of Engineers. And now 60 years later, he's right back where he started from. So he's made a full circle, and we appreciate what you're doing out there. And Mr. Gay, if you weren't working part-time, you might have some more things on your list. Time's up.
At this time, Bruce O'Neill. Bruce, come on up.
I think you answered kind of questions I had. I just heard about the gun range down there and what was going on with it, and I really don't know the whole background story about that. But when and if y'all do bring that back up later, and I'm sure it'll be brought back again, please notify the public that way you can. I know it was in the paper, I just didn't see it, but I didn't get word till this morning. Be careful how you do that, because there's a lot of night hunters, coon hunters, there's hundreds of coon hunters in Meriwether County, and coons don't walk in the daytime.
Well, there were provisions in there that allowed anything under the game laws of Georgia.
Okay.
That allowed night exhibits.
I didn't hear that part of the story.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
Just be careful with that because, you know, there's a lot of hunters out there and a lot of people out there do enjoy hunting at night and different things, you know, and I'd hate to see all the rules changed on kind of one place. You know, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I enjoy hunting, I always have, and I want my grandyoungers to be able to hunt too. So I appreciate it, the commissioners give a good hard thought to that if this comes up again. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Bruce. I think we will reconsider how we roll out something like that here. Mr. Gene King?
I'm hard of hearing, so earlier, are y'all just rolling it to another meeting or it's dead? And it has to start all over? All right, that's good. Because I was going to mention a couple things like Bruce did. I'm sorry, let me take my hat off there so you respect that. But, you know, even like the coon hunt and all that, there was a provision in there for the legal night hunt. But there's no state law anywhere in Georgia that says I can't fire my gun at night. And y'all know it'd be something you can't enforce. I can't tell you how many possums and all that I shoot him a chicken pen. I got an armadillo that's gonna go tonight if I can catch him. And you know, he's tearing up my landscape yard. So it's something that y'all couldn't even enforce. Chuck couldn't even enforce it. You know, I don't have a problem with some kind of boundary as far as how many yards to off a line just for the safety of, like my daughter was riding through the trails one time and she was 7, 8 years old and I lived on Alps Road. She come back, told me there was a man back there in the tree. So I ran back there, he's sitting right on the line with a high power rifle. Now that concerns me, you know, but to tell me I can't shoot at night or, you know, the other, the 100 yards away, like I mentioned earlier today, if I'm 50 yards off my line that y'all proposing and we're gonna shoot in a dirt bank and do some shooting, and my neighbor happened to build 40 feet off the line, because that's a setback that Ron or somebody may have said you can be 40 foot off the line. See, then it's all of a sudden now I'm doing what y'all said, 50 yards off the line, but his house is less than 100 yards, so now I can't shoot. So it's I'm glad y'all really took consideration and all that and rolled it for now. And the only other thing I'd like to bring up on this timber cutting, I was here at the meeting, I remember it being said, but you can correct me, but I thought when they're coming in to do timber, not only do they have to get a permit, but they have to put up a bond. Okay, well I hope that bond was big enough, because they cut for 4 straight months by my house on Mount Carmel Road and Sullivan Mill Road, and y'all got a curve over there, and I've got neighbors calling me, and y'all know I get a lot of people calling me. I don't know if I'm a community organizer or what, but that's why I'm here tonight, because I had a ton of phone calls. But the first kid, teenager comes around that curve and flips their car, y'all ain't gonna be able to afford to pay the lawsuit. It needs to be fixed. It needs to have someone out there tomorrow. Y'all, the whole curve, you don't see it till you get into it. The whole curve is completely gone. You put crush and run out there. The curve has had so much crush and run pushed up that now it's a good 4-wheeler ramp or motorcycle ramp. And you got one sign that says rough road. It should be 3 or 4 signs that says danger, slow down, because I think another gentleman, Corey Dufresne, called up here twice to speak with somebody, and he made it clear his daughter comes down through there with her new Volkswagen Beetle and hits that. I mean, that man's daughter gets hurt, it's going to be more than a lawsuit. He's going to be looking to find out who's in charge. So I would ask, and I know y'all got a problem throughout the whole county. I see it there where I see that pretty pink paint. At least y'all putting paint down so we know to swerve. But you got a lot of potholes that needs to start being addressed, because if you don't, it's going to cost you. I'm a businessman. It's going to cost you a whole lot more to fix it, because I'm sitting here watching the hole be 2 foot wide, and now it's 8 foot wide. So you're going to go from, I thought you was getting a call, I was going to tell you to go ahead and get it. Anyhow, I wish y'all would really address that before someone gets hurt and before it's going to cost the taxpayers a whole lot more money, because the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost. And keep up doing a good job, and I'm glad y'all tabled that tonight, and I'm sure the citizens are going to be proud of you.
Thank you. Looks like that's it. Anybody else got any comments whatsoever? Oh, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. Come on up here.
My name is Johnson Reeves. I'm from the Lucasville District 1 area. And I'm one of those ladies who's been coming to your meetings since June 2013. I'll bet I've not missed 5 meetings since that time. I have looked and listened to a lot of things you've said and done. I've seen you give yourself accolades about some things that I disagreed with. First of all, it was about the barn or the covered bridge. Then you contracted with Manchester for rec. You went to Luthersville and you took over what I thought was a recreation area and want to put a fire station there. And then tonight, last meeting, I heard you say the ordinance about the gun. The one thing that I agreed with was the thing that that man disagreed with. Firing arms. I live in a rural area, real rural, back by myself. But at the same time, I can hear people shooting guns. I heard them last week. I told my husband, I need to go call. He said, John, that's not your business. But it is my business. I had a lady to come down to my yard. I wasn't even at home. She put a sign that said, somebody here shot a gun and it missed my child. I could call her name, but I won't. But she left that sign that saying, okay, you shot a gun. No, I didn't. I don't even have a gun to shoot. You know, but I'm saying that when you table an ordinance without even giving everybody, just because people show up one night, you decide, well, it's not a good idea. Or I got some phone calls and I said it's not a good idea. But you just wait till some child who's trying to play outside in his yard get shot because somebody said, well, you got 40 yards and I got 50 yards. Well, we're 100 yards within that range. It's not going to work. So you need to go back and look at that ordinance again. Don't table it.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none, I want to remind you about our future meeting and notices there. March 14th at 9 a.m. we have our regular meeting. March 27th at 4:30 will be our work session. March 27th at 6 p.m. will be our regular meeting. And before we adjourn, thank you for your patience. I know it's been quite long. And sharing your concerns with us. The only way we have to get those is when you share them with us, and we thank you for that. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.